All right. Well, let's go ahead and get going. Welcome back to the Microsoft main stage. We're super excited to have a session coming up today that will tell you a little bit about your digital footprint. A really important point to consider as you get ready for your college and career path. Our speaker today is actually a really special guest speaker because Analee Cavillo is the program managing director and Latinx outreach for the North Central Washington Tech Alliance. And so Analee gets to go around the region and talk to industry professionals and community leaders all about technology and how to leverage technology to do the things that they want to do and make bigger, better impacts. And today she's going to talk to our young people. We've got over 700 of you attending live today. Please post questions in the discussion board if you've got questions for Analee. And with that, I am going to hand this over and let you take it away.
Here, let me start by sharing my screen so that I can go ahead and do a presentation. I love to use images and presentations when I get the opportunity to. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'll go ahead and get started. So my name is Analee Cavillo, and thank you so much for that great intro, Dr. Sukain. And I am the program manager in Latinx Outreach for NCW Tech Alliance. And today I am so excited to talk about everyone's favorite topic, social media. And so, we always are on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and I'm excited to also share other platforms with you all. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So today, my agenda here shows that we are going to talk about your digital footprint and why it's important. What do you not need to do to help bring your best self out on your web presence? And then 5 tips to help you put your best digital face forward, and then some things to remember, and then I'll have a Q&A session for you to be able to ask those questions. And so so like thanks to social media, our digital footprint is a big part of us being on social media. And so it's a good way to connect with our family members, with friends, and share all the amazing things that are going out in our lives. But this is platforms that are dedicated to share with families and friends. And then now you also have to consider that you are going to be going to college, and you have to consider that you have to go get a professional job. And it's important to remember that you are now in the World Wide Web. Isn't that crazy? Where everything you post can be traced back to you. So this is digital footprint. That is what that is, where things can get back to you and people can find you online. And this can have a direct effect on the way people look at you and perceive you. So this can go either the route of like your job opportunities, scholarship opportunities. People are searching you up online. Just like you would be curious about if you were in a conversation with a friend and they brought someone up and you didn't know them, you'll go on navigation mode and look for those people so that you know who they're talking about. That's the same way that employers are searching you up. And it's becoming common for employers actually, and scholarship donors to look you up to see who they are bringing either on board for their job opportunities that are out there, or who they're going to give scholarship opportunities, so that they can really kind of get to know you and have more insight aside from your applications. So let's do some story time. Imagine being in a job interview or a scholarship interview, and your future employer or funder asks you if you would mind them looking at your social media posts as a way to gain additional insight to bring you on board or to offer you a scholarship. Now let's pause. There's two things that can happen. One thing, they can find negative talk or inappropriate photos, or two, they won't find anything negative and they want to hire you, give you the scholarship offer right away. So welcome to your new job, or congratulations on your new scholarship. So now you will think about what you post before you post it. So what can I do to put my best digital face forward now? Like, you're thinking, oh my gosh, you're talking about my social media and what I have there. Should I be concerned? Should I go back and look what I have there? Yes. Clean your social media up. You still have time. It's never too late. Remove any negative talk, any inappropriate posts. Take a weekend where you have time to go through your social media. I mean, we're on our social media all the time. Well, you know, do some checkup and clean up while we're on it, to really put our best selves out there. Long term, you got to think about your social media as a form of a communication tool that can be used to stay connected before you post. Think about these things. Think about what's in your background of your picture that you are posting. What are you doing in that picture or video? And what music are you playing in your background? Your social media platform can have some consequences if you're not careful about what you post, but can also be positive. And I'll talk a little bit about that positivity of social media. So let's talk about some tips. So tip number one, LinkedIn. If you're not familiar with LinkedIn, you will be in the future. LinkedIn is utilized as a professional platform. It's a really good way to make connections with professionals, share interests with other professionals, join a group of professionals, or look for a job. And I think you can also do some training opportunities to gain additional insight and knowledge on jobs of your interest. So I would encourage you to look into LinkedIn a little bit more so that you can get familiar with it for your future. And I'll also talk a little bit more about what kind of things you can post on LinkedIn in a bit. Tip number two, keep an eye out on your social privacy settings. Social networks often change their privacy and security settings. So, go in there, make sure once in a while that your privacy settings are turned on so that just anyone cannot look at everything that you are posting. But you also have to keep in mind that you have to be posting appropriate things because those settings will change and you will not know it. And the last thing you want is you don't want anybody that you don't want to see, like your teachers or like job employers, to look at things that were not meant for them to see. So really, as a tip, try to search yourself up on social, or not even on just social media, just Google yourself online. See what shows up when you Google yourself and try to clean that up as you see it. And then, take the opportunity to post good things about yourself. Share a certificate that you got in your classroom, share your achievements or relevant interests that you have so that your teachers or your future bosses can see those kinds of things and really get to know you at a really great level. Number three, engage, have conversations, talk about the things interested, particularly in interest in an industry. Like if you're interested in the medical field or technology, then you should be liking and sharing and following, commenting and retweeting those things, because then you're kind of sharing with your employers and your teachers the kind of interest that you have. And then also, share tweets about people who are already working in that professional field that you're interested in, so that they will eventually see that and recognize you for it, or maybe you'll get a job opportunity because you did that. Keep up to date and build connections with people while you are on social media. Let's see, tip number four, make yourself easy to find. Start a blog. Talk about your achievements, popular topics, what you have learned in your studies. A lot of people are using things like TikTok to talk about some of the things, kind of like a blog form of talking about what they learned, talking about their self-discovery journey, talking about a specific interested field that they're interested in, and then making those connections with people as well. Tip number five, social media changes all the time. So try to keep up to date, see what's out there, keep yourself relevant on your socials to really have a good digital footprint set, so that when people search you up in the professional field, they can find you easily and they know what you're using and they know that you're integrated in what's trending, so that you can have more opportunities lined up for yourself as you go to colleges, universities, or you're looking for scholarships, or you're looking for jobs. And so here is an example of what the platforms are out right now, just kind of like an update, and so you could get familiar with them. So considering some context, different social media platforms have different content that are appropriate, tailored your content to fit the context. So, I talked a little bit about LinkedIn. It's a professional platform. This is if you create an account and you go on there, it's kind of like if you have a resume. If you have a resume to apply for a job, that's kind of like where you put it on social media, your digital form, and people can see what kind of jobs you have had. They can see articles that you have created. So that's a kind of like the blog form that I'm talking about, where you can talk about things that you're interested in. You can make connections with people and kind of build yourself up to success. And then there's the platform that's more of an inspirational board, which is Pinterest, and a lot of us are very familiar with that, which also you have to be careful about what kind of things you're pinning, because people can find that. Facebook and Instagram are more of a casual platform where you could post food, pets, children, your family gatherings, and other personal content that are all acceptable are on these platforms. So you don't want to use your professional content to feed through your Facebook or Instagram, but you're welcome to share, because those are the mostly used social platforms. Share content that some other people are doing. Like I said, that goes back to somebody that you're interested that is in that field, working in that field. You could share an article that they shared or that they wrote, to kind of just show your interest through that. Casual platforms like YouTube and TikTok are very popular as well. Those are more like videography. If you are interested in a specific field, you could tailor your content through that as well. Kind of talk about your experience as a student or a student in the medical field. So that's becoming really popular right now. And then Reddit and Twitter are other casual platforms, and they're usually used as notepad social spaces, where you can kind of vent about things, but then you have to think about your privacy settings again, and you have to be careful. So you might as well just, feed good stuff through your social media. Keep it clean, even if you have it as a private as you think you have it, you still want to make sure that you are not putting any negative conversations that can be traced back to you. Remember, social media is about sharing. If you post something negative on social media about your teachers, if you post something negative about your boss, anything like that, someone can take a screenshot of it and share it to the wrong people. So let's be careful about those kinds of things that we put out. We want to put the best part of ourselves out so people can have a good first impression of us. So here are some things to remember. Number one, only post appropriate content. You are now on the World Wide Web. You're no longer private, and it is permanent. So if you search yourself up and you're seeing things, negative things from your past, it's going to be really hard to take that off. So try to, like I said, feed good stuff. Sometimes if you continue to post, through life, you're going to be continuing to use social media. Post moving forward good stuff about you, and then maybe that can get lost within all the things that come up about you. Build your personal brand. Give a amazing first impression to current and future employers, so that when they look you up, they can just see your authentic self. And then number three, take the presidential test. This means that you need to ask yourself, if I was going to run for president tomorrow, what can people find on me as they search for me? So you want to make sure that, all content, all images, all things that you share, all things that you like, give a good web brand about yourself. So do you guys have any questions? This was a very short presentation, but it was really good content for you to take back and kind of think about your social media and what that looks like, and your digital footprint, putting yourself, your best self out there.
Thanks so much, Analee. This is awesome information. I'm so excited about that.
Thank you. I don't know if I could see the questions.
I'm not
If there's
seeing
any
any specific questions just yet, but
Okay.
I heard you mention the LinkedIn, and I love that suggestion for some of our students to be able to begin their professional outreach and how to promote
Yes.
themselves. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and I know that when I was in high school, I didn't know what LinkedIn was. It wasn't until I got to college that I really got to learn more about what LinkedIn was, and that's when I really thought like, okay, I'm applying for scholarship opportunities, and some amazing funders are starting to want to interview me because believe it or not, applying for scholarships is like applying for a job. And I was like, okay, people are gonna look me up on social media. Everyone's on the web now, and social media is so popular. And I just thought like, okay, if I am in a conversation with my friends and they're talking about somebody, I'm gonna want to know what that person looks like. So I'm gonna go to my Facebook and search them up to see who they are, and
Mhm.
then I'm gonna have my first impression of them. So that's kind of how you build a professional profile in LinkedIn, and people can also search you up there and see all these amazing things that you've done, all your achievements. So I encourage all students and everyone joining us today to really check LinkedIn out and learn a little bit about it before you go on that platform and start to build connections.
I think that's really great advice. There is a question in the chat from
Awesome.
Adrian is wondering what the best places to start a professional blog might be.
So LinkedIn's one of them. I know I've seen individuals start doing vlogging on TikTok, and some are starting, their own YouTube channel. So there's I follow some great TikTokers. One of them is called Gina Moreno, and she actually is a program manager at Microsoft. And she gives a lot of professional advice about like what to put on your resume. She talks about like depending on what it is. She talks about her self discovery journey as a Latinx person. And then she also talks about being first generation and the trauma that she had to go through and how she overcame that so that she can get where she's at. So you can definitely use things like that depending on, the length of your videos that you want to do for vlogging. If you want to do blogging, then you can start your own website and start to write blogs through that. And you can also utilize LinkedIn, where you can write articles and share those articles with people that are on your connection list in your platform.
That's perfect. So there's one more question in here. Jeff is wondering, so you were talking about cleaning up what you can be found about people on the internet. And then you also said that some of the things that we post is permanent. And so he's wondering if you can clarify, how can he clean something up if it's out there? On the
Yeah, so definitely, yeah, and that goes back to like managing your different platforms. So like, let's say that you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have LinkedIn, you have TikTok, you have all the platforms. Let's just say that, and go back to your Facebook and start cleaning that up first. You really got to know what you have posted in the past to really track that, and you don't always remember what you post. Like I have things from years when I was in high school that I don't remember what I posted, so it's going to be challenging to clean that up. So that might still be found on the web. Uh, or like images and things like that. But if you go back to your social media and you can clean up as much as you can, and like I mentioned, if you start to put in new content and good stuff about yourself, maybe that stuff will then clean itself up and enough for that it's like so behind in the web that they can only find good stuff about you. So that's what I mean by permanent. Like things will still be there, but because you have been feeding other content, it will kind of start to link out with leaving all of that stuff at the bottom of the list, basically.
This is really good advice. Start with what you can take down
Yes.
and go from there. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much, Analee. This was such
Yeah.
wonderful information and really practical advice. And hopefully some of you out there will take Analee up on some of this. Um,
Thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed my time here and talking to students and teachers and everyone that's joining us today.